It's that time once again, the final moments before lights out of the charge down to turn 1. Who will come out on top at Paul Ricard today? Well, we'll find out soon as we get the French Grand Prix underway. 6 lefts and 9 rights give us a total of 15 corners here at the circuit Paul Ricard, and a lap covers an overall distance of 3.6 miles. Average speeds will be somewhere in the region of 142 miles per hour, and they'll be maxing out on the Mistral Straight at around 205 miles per hour.
Guys, there we go. So results here for qualifying 3 Phoenix Racing League for the French Grand Prix. We got GM Cool, of course, going to be starting on pole. We got Cypriot starting 2nd, Archer will start 3rd, Chuck Brewer starting 4th, Jonathan starting 5th on his return here to the league. Swanee here starting in 6th, got Ethan on his debut race starting in 7th. We got Chuckle Brewer starting 8th, Lancer starting 9th, and Jonesy will start 10th in the house. We're gonna head straight into the race session now. Let's see what the start of this race is gonna look like. Where are the lights? Oh, there we go. So they're off there right now. Let's see if the Ferrari gets a better run into turn 1. Of course, they're going to try to go side by side. There's both Alfa Romeo challenging the Ferrari right now of Cypriot. So let's see what he's going to have happening. He is trying to get into the lead. Does look like he has a pretty good chance of actually keeping that lead that he just took away there from GM Cool, who's now down to 3rd. His teammate up into 2nd. So a bit of a switch on the opening lap here for the top positions in the race session. And Chuck Brewer's there running 4th. Right there, he started in this race. GM Cool lost that 2 positions of the start. Delancer is up by 4, and Jonathan just lost 1 position from the start there. So far not nothing too bad. We got all 15 drivers still in the session there. Ethan there, of course, down to 15. Not the best of start there for him. Not sure what happened. Might have had some contact with another car. Just had a pretty bad start there off the line. As you said, qualifying and the race session, 2 completely different things here on a lobby race as this one here. So let's see what's going to happen going on to the rest of the session. Let's switch it on to let's take that off at the moment. Race strategy, of course, we're looking at possibly a 2-stop or a 3, just a 1 or a 2-stop strategy here for the session, depending on what happens with safety car. We might have more stops, just depends on that. It looks like West had a spin on the formation lap, as we mentioned there. So out in front, of course, we got Cypriot in the Ferrari, who started 2nd. He's now leading the French Grand Prix here, as we're going to get into lap 2 pretty soon. Archer currently 2nd. He started behind, down in 3rd, I believe it was, and he's now up into 2nd. GM Cool starting the lead. He's now down to 3rd. So a bit of a switch to the top 3. Chuck Brewer's running 4th, Lancer running 5th as we get into lap 2 now. Jonathan running 6th, Chucker Brewer's in 7th, Swanee 8th, Beard in 9th, and Craig, of course, running 10th there at the moment. Not too bad in terms of the position we got for on with the McLaren here. Pretty close gap with him and GM Cool at the moment. Not having the best of start here at France, but let's see what he can do to improve his position through this portion of this race session. It's a 27-lap race, of course, around the Paul Ricard circuit. Didn't mention that there. And of course, we're on lap 2. So yeah, laps going by a bit quicker than we may expect. The lap time here around here, as you said, in qualifying, not too far off in terms of the time. So yeah, laps are going to go very quickly from us as well. Let's see how that works out for the drivers getting through on the moment. Some pretty close gaps, as we can see. Cypriot leading out in front, but Cypriot not over in terms of getting a 2nd ahead of Archer. Not getting that done as it, because we're going to have DRS come online on the upcoming lap, which is going to be lap 3. That's, of course, going to be a bit of an advantage there for Archer. GM Cool, of course, within his teammates' advantage of getting the DRS as well. So let's see how that works for him. Chuck Rivers in that range as well. Jonathan out of the range. He's currently 5th on the grid, trying to get up another position if he can. Let's see if he does get that done. So far, not too bad with the start of it. Let's switch it down to the midfield of the grid right now. On with Chuckle Rivers here, chasing after Lancer in front of him. Swanee in the Mercedes running a close call behind that. Craig just got past. I think Swanee just had a spin down in the back there to go with the sauce. So the Aston Martin gets out into P8. He continues on through. Trackman is out of position. West is out of position as well. And they're going to continue through that. Lancer in the pits at the moment. Cypriot continues with his lead out in front and gets the fastest lap here in the race session at the moment. So not too bad. We got DRS now coming online, as we just noticed from race control there. So out in front, the Ferrari holding on to that lead. His teammate Jonathan running in P5. Not a bad position for his teammate, but let's see, can they get both cars onto the podium today? Alfa Romeo has actually done that for so far in the session. I think they're going to try to keep it true going for the rest of the session if they can. We'll see what that's going to be happening or not. McLaren's running pretty high up as well, 4th and 6th at the moment there. The Mercedes guys are 11th and 12th, not too far up. Haas 13th and 15th, of course. The AlphaTauris 10th and 14th there for Lancer and Eaton. Eaton back up into 10th right now. He's trying to work his way up the field. That's what's happening. He's getting up more positions than expected here. He's up ahead of West right now. So he's between the two Red Bulls and running. Of course, we know he's going to keep that bull as much as he can. Okay, so Chuck Brewer's currently fastest in the session here. He's currently running in 3rd. So definitely trying to catch up with the guys out in front. There's speed on track. He's got a close gap to the Mercedes here. Can get anything done going into turn 1 of the next lap. Forces it around the outside here before he didn't get into turn 1. So he does get a position up. He's up between the Mercedes now into 12. Losing back to position though. He lost that when he back down to 13th again. Unfortunate for that. Let's get back out in front, see what's happening with our top 3 at the moment. Well, not even worried about the top 2 as they're a bit spaced out, but the McLaren of Chuck Brewers chasing after Archer right now, trying to go side by side into the next turn. Does he get that position up? Looks like he does get it up. He's up into 2nd place in this race, and I think he's going to try to continue with that pace after Cypriot and the Ferrari out in front now. See if he can get into the lead of the race here. You know these McLarens, they always are fighting for podium positions in these sessions. So Chucker Brewers will have some work to do throughout the race session. Let's see what's going to happen. I mean, most of the drivers have started on the hard compound tires, which means they are planning. Oh, there's a spin. There's a spin from the McLaren of Chuck Brewers. He loses the rear trying to get the car back going. His teammate just went by him. Not the best of luck here, as he just got up into 2nd place. Now a simple mistake has cost him quite a lot of positions and a lot of time in this race as well. He's now down to 7th. Of course, I'm going to try now to 6th. Going to try to fight his way back up. Jonathan having some problems in his own in this race here, I think. He's down into 9th right now, trying to get up on another position if he can. That's happening with JM Gold. He is into the pits right now. Let's switch it back and let's see what his switch is going to be. He was on the hard tires that he started this race on. Let's see what strategy he is trying to run here. Is he going on to, there he is. He is going on to a set of mediums now. This is lap 5 of 27 for the French Grand Prix, and he's going into a set of mediums. He had a front wing change there, so I guess that's why he took a pit stop. Took some damage on that car. Somehow something happened, and he's taking some damage, so he's going to get back out now on track, and let's see how the rest of the session continues here. Lancer now gets the fastest lap out in front. Go back to the two McLarens now running 4th and 5th in this race session. We got, of course, Chucker Brewers within striking range of Craig right now, who's running in 3rd. I think he still needs to gain just a few tenths, at least 4 tenths more, before he can even attempt or think about attempting an overtake against the Aston Martin right now. Out in front, Cypriot still leads the Grand Prix by 2.1 seconds against Archer, of course, who is still in 2nd. And yeah, both of them on the same set of tires that they started this race on. Got the Red Bull guys are up into 8 and 9, so they're not doing too bad so far. They were not having the best of luck in qualifying, but yeah, they're getting through it somehow or the other. They are getting through it, and it looks like they're up 8 and 9. Let's see if they're gonna follow through and get past Jonathan now. They're within DRS range, of course. That's West there. He is within DRS range of the Ferrari, of course. Let's see what's happening with these 3 here. I know these 2 Red Bull are trying to find their way out in front of the field here if they can. I see Chortman there right behind his teammate as well. He is, of course, within DRS range as well, trying to keep up with him to follow behind and just possibly hoping that both of them can get by that Ferrari. Jonathan, of course, not going to be making it easy for them at this point. We're on lap 6 of 27. Still got quite a way more to go in this Grand Prix before we close it off. So let's see what's going to happen in terms of changes when we do have some pit stops come up, but that's going to be quite a bit more time before it happens. Another safety car happens in the session. Of course, we still got 15 drivers that started this race are all in the session, so pretty impressive to see that at the moment there. Okay, so we switch it back up to the McLaren of Chuck Rivers here. He's about 4 tenths behind Ethan right now. Let's see what else happening. Craig is getting into the pits here right now as we're on the board with the McLaren. Right down to turn 1, getting into the next lap. Let's see how that's going to go. Another 20 to 21 laps or so still remains here in this race session. But still, as we said, quite a way more we have to go if we're closing off the race session. A pretty close gap between these three here. We got an AlphaTauri, of course, stuck between two McLarens. And not the best of places to be, especially between Chuckle and Chuck here. Looks like John, of course, had a penalty, I think, from a few laps ago that he still has there. Only driver in the session currently with a penalty, and there goes a spin from Ethan there. Doesn't take any damage to the car, thankfully, so he's going to get back going. Of course, he loses positions now. That puts the McLarens running 3rd and 4th on the grid here. We got Cypriot still leading, Archer still running 2nd. As you said, these McLarens are pretty good in terms of finding a strategy to work the way with their both cars getting up into podium places here. Archer and Cypriot gonna start to be under some pressure right now. Archer, of course, first on that list. Let's see what's they're gonna have done. The Red Bulls are following on through as everyone makes mistakes and takes pit stops here. They're up into 6th and 7th in this race session. So let's see what Weston Sharpman can do for the rest of the race. The Mercedes guys following on not too far behind Ethan here in 9th and 10th as they're running. Oh, guys, apologies about that. Let's see what's happening here in the session. So we got drivers starting to space off just in terms of the gaps that they have. We do have Eaton here though. I have a second gap right now behind the Red Bull of Chartman at the moment, and he is of course pushing on that as much as he can. Oh, we just added a poll in chat, guys. Can Cypriot finish on pole for this race? He started on pole. He's holding on to pole from for the past 9 laps going into the session. So can he actually follow on through and finish on pole here for the French Grand Prix? Let's see what you guys think about that there, and let's see what's gonna happen as we get further in the session. Yeah, so we still got Eaton here chasing after this Red Bull. Chapman under a lot of pressure right there. His teammate in front of him by about close to 2 seconds. They're separated by just a bit there. We're getting closer and closer here. Not close enough for Eaton to actually take an overtake here, so he's gonna have to just nurse this on through into the next lap, of course, and try to see where he's gonna have enough room to get an opening to take an overtake there. We got JM Cooler, of course, trying to get an overtake for himself against the Haas of Beard at the moment. Trying to go side by side, but he's not able to pull alongside him as yet. Still a bit further behind. Still a few tenths, but still, it's so close, yet so far away in terms of getting that overtake done. That's so difficult at some points on track here. We're following on with Eaton there, of course. 2 tenths, but the gap is now 10 between him and Chartman. They go side by side. Looks like he gets ahead of the Red Bull. So the AlphaTauri is true. He's up ahead into 7. Chartman's down to 8. He separates the Red Bulls, and now he's going to go after West, of course, to try and get another position up here. GM Cool just got up into 10th against Beard and leads by a 10th against him. 2 tenths now. He's trying to improve himself in that gap there, and hopefully let's extend his lead throughout. So Eaton, of course, up to 7th. He's now 2.2 seconds behind West there at the moment. Let's see if West is going to actually keep him behind, or is he going to be losing his position here? Of course, again, the McLarens were still running 3rd and 4th in this race. They've worked their way to that position, even with some minor incidents that happened with one of the McLarens already on. But yeah, they're still following on through with this race. And let's have a look. Are we going to have any drizzle in the race session? It'll be a lot of fun to see some. But at the moment, we're getting into lap 11 of 27 here for the French Grand Prix here at the Paul Ricard circuit with Phoenix Racing Elite at Division 1 drivers, and it's quite an exciting race session so far. We'll have a few battles still pending on track here, so there are quite a few more on the opening lap, but of course we know most of these drivers are running a longer stint than expected, and yeah, that's gonna put the pit stops further down to the end portion of the race session. We'll see what's going to happen. Of course, safety car at any point in the session will definitely change things up a lot in terms of the pit stop strategy for most of these drivers here. And of course, they're all going to be watching on Cypriot out in front. If he takes a stop, of course, the car behind him are going to respond, take a stop at the same time. We'll see what's going to happen though. Who's going to be the first one out in front to take a pit stop without a safety car happening at this point? In West here having a pretty good battle with Eaton there, who's gotten past him. Still 3 tenths is what the gap is. Let's see if he's going to be losing time or gaining time right now as he pushes on through. Tries to keep that gap as close as it is there right now. Archer has the penalty out in front. Unfortunate for the race for him at the moment. He's currently running 2nd on a podium position. This puts both McLarens up in front of him when Chuck Bruvas closes that gap, because his teammate is within a 2nd of following him on through in the race at the moment. Switch back to the overhead cam. Looks like one of the McLarens is taking a pit stop. That's Chuck Bruvas now into the pits. His teammate Chuck Bruvas will continue out in 3rd on the grid. Johnson is now up into 4th. He still has a fighting chance in this race in terms of finishing on the podium here if he can. Let's see if that's going to be possible or not. TM Cool currently down into 11th on the grid. Now up into 10th as he gets past Beard, who now goes into the pits. Okay, so we have some more penalties, of course, coming on with drivers here at the moment as we get further into the race session. We're going to approach the halfway point of the race pretty soon as well, as we're going to unlock 12 of 27. Out in front, we still got Cypriot leading the Grand Prix. Archer, of course, still running second. Chuckle Brewer's running third. Got Jonathan running fourth. He is, of course, within a second of that McLaren. We're trying to see, can the Ferrari driver get past and get onto a podium position here, because he's closing in so quickly. And of course, the McLaren really not as strong as they're separated now. Chuckle Brewer's took a pit stop. He's down to 11th on the grid. His teammate left out exposed out in front here in third. Let's see if the Ferrari can get ahead. His teammate, of course, leading the race. So, I think a lot of pressure right now from Ferrari in terms of having both cars on the podium for the finish of the race here. Let's see what's going to happen. Looks like our race leader has now gotten to the halfway point, just getting past that of this race. What we're at right now, we got another 13 and a half laps or so to finish off the Grand Prix. Let's see when that's going to go. Once again, guys, welcome to everyone that's joining us here live on this stream session. For those who didn't join us for the qualifying, if you're joining us now, please, guys, do make sure you do follow us here on Twitch. We do have a poll on the chat there for can Cypriot finish on pole here at France. Let's see if that's going to be possible or not. Jonathan here starting to push for that Ferrari, closing the gap on the McLaren. Of course, that McLaren coming under so much pressure right now, and hopefully he doesn't make a mistake. Archer is into the pits right now, has a penalty as well, so let's see what's going to happen. There goes Chuckle Brewers goes into the pits as well. This is going to put Jonathan hopefully up into second place in this race now. Now remember, he does have to take a pit stop as well. So let's see what he does decide to do. But he is, of course, running on the hard tires, so he's running a long stint here, and then going to switch over maybe to the mediums to finish off the race session. Or if he can push it quite a bit more into lap 20, 21, might go into the soft tires to finish off the session. But I'm thinking he might just run this to go onto the mediums, maybe another 2 or 3 laps time, and then yeah, finish out the race session that way. Unless there's a safety car that does change things up. Gap, of course, between Jonathan and Cypriot, 10.1 seconds as it is right now. So yeah, Jonathan has a lot of work to do for the second half of this race if he's to catch up to Cypriot out in front and actually take away that position from him. West is now up to third, Chartman now up into 4. These Red Bulls, they followed on through and they've gotten all the way up, with one of them being on a podium position. They haven't taken stops yet in this race as far as we know. We got Archer and JM Cool, both Alfa Romeos running 5th and 6th right now. I think they have taken stops. I think both of them have taken stops actually, so have a quick look on who's taken stops. Looks like both of them have taken a stop. Swanee, the Mercedes, has not taken a stop, and our top 4 drivers are the other 4 that have not stopped in this race so far. They will have to take a mandatory pit stop in the race session so far, so they're going to have to take that pit stop at some point. I'm assuming though, when running on the hards are going to be running until lap 18 at least before taking a pit stop in the session. Just an average guess here. Haven't actually done the race myself here at France, so can't speak to be a bit more precise on that, but yeah, I think that's an average of what we're looking at. West there getting into the pits right now. He's going to make a switch for his strategy. Let's see, he's coming back out to the soft tires. Can he push all the way to the end of the race on this? I think it's actually quite possible. It's really not going to be that hard to do it. I mean, it's another 12 more laps or so before the race comes to an end, so he needs to push on through that much. And I think he probably is hoping for a safety car to happen, which will probably help him out in terms of saving tires as well, or maybe not, because he's down to 11th. If a safety car happens, that's going to push him up in terms of trying to get up positions here in the race session, which is going to be a bit more harder for him to actually do. We're going to keep it here as the moment as we have it. So lap 15 of 27 again, guys. Phoenix Racing League French Grand Prix here. It started off with 15 drivers. We're now down to 14 drivers. I actually just even noticed that John is out of the session. So one Mercedes out so far. Unfortunate for that. But yeah, let's kind of see what's happening in the session. Cypriot, as we said, is leading this race from lap 1 to this point. Hasn't taken a pit stop as yet, and is continuing that lead. Again, we have the poll there in chat as to what do you guys think. Cypriot can finish on pole here, meaning win this race. Can he win this race at the end of the session? He's held on to that lead from the start. He did not start this race in pole position. He started now in second, but he took away that pole position. He took away the pole position as he got through with it. So let's see if he can hold it through the rest of the session. He has a pretty good chance, I think, of getting it. But of course, Jonathan is going to try to close this gap now. 11.7 seconds is what he's up against there to break down. Has a bit of time to do this. Let's see how much he's going to be getting done in the next 2 laps or so. Archer, of course, now down to third, and of course he has a penalty to deal with. Let's follow on the Chartman here, running in P4 at the moment. He's within DRS range right now of the Alfa Romeo. Of course, GM Code running in 5th. That's our championship leader at the moment, trying to extend his lead in that championship, of course, here today with some decent points. So he needs to get as much points as possible, of course. Don't want to run the risk of anyone catching up to him by any margin as it is there right now. Both McLarens love sticking together. They're now 6th and 7th in the race session. Is it going to be a switch of the McLarens here? Because Chuckle is catching up to Chuck Brewers. I think they're going side by side. There goes Chuckle. He's out into 6th now. So he's out in front, and that might have just been a team order switch. So not sure who's the faster one, but they're going to put the faster car out in front, of course, to chase after GM Cool there and try to get our position up. We got a race leader into the pit. This is going to change things right now. We got a Ferrari of Cypriot taking a pit stop. Jonathan, of course, coming around right now. He's going to stop now, going through the next lap. He isn't going to stop right now. He's going to go one more lap and possibly then take a pit stop here. Let's see if that's going to be the case. So far, so good from what we got him doing. He's worked his way up the order. I think he started around 4th or 5th. He's now into the lead of the French Grand Prix after the race leader has taken a pit stop in lap 17 of 27 remaining. He started on the hard tires here as well, so his strategy could be going onto the softs now to finish off the Grand Prix. And let's see if that's actually going to work for him. At the moment, as what it is, it's looking pretty good for Cypriot though. He's out, back on track. I don't think that's a penalty. Unfortunately, the previous race leader just got a penalty. Let's see how much that penalty is actually. It's a 5-second penalty for Cypriot there. That's going to be added to his race time down at the end of this, so he needs a significant gap when he gets back out in front. We just lost 3 drivers from the session. Is that going to be a safety car or not? Looks like just a yellow flag situation at the moment there, so not sure what's happening. I think the 3 of them have retired in the pit lane at the moment. Of course, there are rules for that at this point. You got to go into the pit lane, then retire the car. If you do retire it on track, I think that leads to a penalty in the league itself. So it looks like Lancer and Craig have retired their cars in the pit lane and they're out of this race. We're down to 12 drivers remaining. Of course, let's switch that back to the overhead cam and let's see what's happening out the front. 1.3 seconds towards Sharpman in the Red Bull, who I believe still has to take a pit stop in this session. That's going to leave him with Archer and Jonathan to deal with out in front if he does intend to take back the lead of the Grand Prix. Let's see what the case is going to be. And there goes Cypriot Gans getting past the Red Bull. He's now up into 3rd on the grid. He still has that 5-second penalty to deal with. I think he's going to deal with that at the end of the session either way. He had a significant gap against Jonathan there, of course. Jonathan hasn't taken a pit stop as yet. He's waiting for Jonathan to do that. So he's trying to work his way back up the field right now to take the advantage of having at least an 8 to 10 second gap against the Ferrari, which will definitely still keep him in runnings of getting a race win here this evening. So let's see what's going to happen in that case story right now. I guess we're coming up, we're currently in lap 18, we're getting to lap 19 pretty soon. Looks like the Ferrari goes past the pit entry lane. He's not taking a stop. I think Jonathan might be holding out for a safety car here. He wants to keep the lead of the Grand Prix right now, which is going to be a bit hard to do if he takes a pit stop at this point, because that's about 11 to 12 seconds behind is where Cypriot is, and that's not even nowhere enough time that he needs to take a stop and get back out into the lead. So let's see what his strategy play is going to be. He's definitely holding out a bit here for a safety car to happen within the next lap or two. I think he's what he's holding out for, and to see if that's going to happen or not. And if it does happen, it does keep him in contention for the lead, because he knows Cypriot might take another pit stop just behind him there as well. Either way, he's going to save a lot of time on that pit stop if we have a safety car happen right about now. So let's see what the case is going to be. But as we have it, Jonathan Lee still has to do a pit stop here. Archer in second. Cypriot running in third at the moment. Did Archer take a stop? I think he did. But let me just bring that online here. Yep, he did. Everyone took a stop except for Jonathan in this race session so far. So let's see what this case is going to be. We got both the McLarens running 4th and 5th, of course, close off each other as well. A pretty close gap between them. I think they work together pretty well in this session, because they don't battle each other too much for positions here. They do switch positions when needed for another driver to chase after the one in front if they need to. Yes, I think it's mostly about the team, at least for McLaren. So let's see what the rest of the teams are going to have happening. 12 drivers still remaining in the Grand Prix, lap 19 of 27. Right now, we should be able to get into a lap 20 pretty soon, as we're getting through Sector 3 right now as well. Let's go back down to the McLaren guys, because it's the closest gap we have right now to follow on through it. Looks like Jonathan is into the pits here now as he finally decides to do that stop. He's getting back out on track. Let's see where he does exit the pit lane. What position is he in? Looks like he's going to be in P5 behind the McLaren guys and running. Right around where he started in this race. At least not too bad with that position at least. But let's see how he continues on through with it. At the moment, Archer continues to lead this race. Cypriot running a close second, 3.5 seconds actually, not really that close. And both of them having penalties. Of course, it's only 3 seconds for Archer, I think, and Cypriot having 5 seconds of penalties. Both of them took stops so far. Let's see what the change of order is going to be here. Got Chuck Brewers in third, Chuck Brewers in fourth, Jonathan running fifth. Ethan their debut race for him here with the league. He's running 6th at the moment, not too bad, getting some points. West running 7, JM Cool running in 8th, Chartman running 9th, Beard running 10th, Swanee 11th, and Jonesy running in 12th, as it is there right now. As it is, guys, it is currently lap 20 of 27 here for the French Grand Prix. We are about to get into the next lap pretty soon. We have our racer going across the line right about now. Let's have a look at him as he does get across, and that's lap 21 of 27. Now we got 7 laps officially remaining here for the French Grand Prix. Let's see where these drivers are going to finish. Going down to JM Cole down in the back here. He's within a second of the Red Bull of West as West goes into the pit lane right now, taking another pit stop there. I know he went on to a set of soft tires that he did, and he's going to go on to another set right now to finish off the Grand Prix. I believe is what he's trying to do here. Let's see how that strategy worked for him. Going to be losing some positions, of course, there as the rest of the day goes on through. The McLarens here, 2/10 is what the gap is between the two of them, yet both of them racing pretty well on track. No damage either car. They're not fighting each other for positions here. Jonathan gets another, well, he gets a penalty now, 3-second penalty there for, of course, corner cutting on track. It's going to affect his race position here as well. So on his comeback here, not having the best race session, but let's see what's going to happen when we get around to the next session next week. But yep, things do change quite a bit. Archer still leads, Cypriot still running second. It's not looking like Cypriot might be winning this race now from what's happening. Archer looking to be in a pretty good position of taking pole position here. Let's see if that's going to continue on through or not. The McLaren guys, of course, running 3rd and 4th. At least one of them into the podium places right now. His teammate just 3/10 behind him. So of course, Chuck Rivers has to catch with the car in front of him for both of these cars to finish on the podium. And he has a closer gap. If he can close that gap, just enough. I think we can have both McLarens onto a podium position here because, of course, you know, Archer, 3-second penalty, I believe, for him. He should be able to keep that position there. Have a look. It's a 3-second penalty for him. Gap between him and Cypriot is now 2.9 seconds. He's trying to extend that as much as he can. And let's see if he's going to be doing that or not, because I think they're trying to see who's going to be better suited to go out in front here. So, yeah. 2.8 seconds. It's coming down a bit right now from him. He's trying to get it back up, not having the best of luck though. So 2.7 seconds. It's starting to break down. Cypriot is breaking that gap down. But of course, Cypriot has an 8-second penalty. He needs to extend his lead by 8 seconds to keep his position. That's going to put both McLarens, at the moment as it is, both McLarens goes up into second and third, and Cypriot goes down to fourth if they get across the line on this current lap to finish off the race. But we still got 5.5 laps more or so to finish off the Grand Prix. So yeah, still a bit of time for him to get some work done here. The McLarens still running pretty close off to each other. Not sure what the deal is with the two of them. Chuckle, of course, in third. Chuck Rufus in fourth. Okay, so but that's so on to lap 24 of 27. Let's see what we have happening. So on the lead, we got Cypriot that's now caught up to Archer out in front there. Of course, it's a 7-10 gap between the two of them. Let's see if that's going to change as we get further on down to the end of the session. Of course, very, very few laps remaining right now. And now down to 5:10. So looking like the Ferrari might be able to get up into the lead. Of course, getting up into the lead is going to be one thing here. It needs to extend its gap against Archer by at least, I guess, 3 seconds from the penalties that the two of them have in order to keep that race position in the lead and finish on pole here. I think that's what needs to happen because it's an 8-second penalty for Cypriot, 3 seconds, or is it 5 seconds for Archer, is it? I think it is 5 seconds for Archer, or is it 3? Let me have a quick look at that. Okay, so 3 seconds, so he needs to extend his gap by 5 seconds in order to keep a race win here. Not sure what the possibility of that is going to be. Let's see what's going to happen though. We can see what position changes happen here. So of course Archer gained 2 positions off the start. Chuck Rufus up by 5. We got TM Cool down by 6. And looks like the McLaren might be getting driver today if he does keep this up, or what we got going on there. Let's see what's going to happen though as we come to the end of this session in just a bit. Lap 25 right now of 27. Archer leads against Cypriot here in the Ferrari. So these 4 drivers currently with penalties here on track. We're looking to see if we have any closer gaps to deal with. I think the closest gap we have was with the both McLarens they are running, which have now extended out a bit. Looks like Cypriot has lost some time. Might have made a bit of a mistake here. He's down by 2.4 seconds once again, so he's looking to not be finishing on pole here with what's happening now. As we get further down to the end of the race session, it's looking highly unlikely that he will. He made a mistake, lost some time here, lost a lot of time here actually. It's now down by 2.3 seconds. The McLaren guys, once again, within a second of each other and going. Of course, that puts Chuck Rivers with the DRS advantage against his teammate. Are they going to be doing a switch to see who's going to be catching up to the Ferrari in front of them? Or are they just going to take a 3 and 4th finish for the session? Ethan there running 6th, Jonathan running 5th. Not too happens for them, but Jonathan has a penalty as well. So let's see if that's going to work out. Swanee there has a penalty running 10th. That might put him out of contention for that position, but West is about 7 seconds behind. 7.4 seconds behind to be precise, so that might just leave the Mercedes with his position that he currently has there. As you can see, Chuck Rivers struggling a bit getting off that final turn. Let's see what the gap is between the two of them. Might be a switch. Will Chuck go for the position? He is going to go for it on the inside of his teammate into turn 1. Does he get it up? Looks like Chuck Rivers is now up into 3rd. No penalties on either of these guys so far, but they're going to continue on with the chase. It's teammate against teammate right now. What we can see there. Let's see how close Chuck Rivers is going to get in terms of attempting to get back into 3rd position again. That, of course, is the final podium place on track here for the race. So, of course, both of them are going to want to be on it. And it's looking to be just one of them getting on it at the moment here. We got Cypriot, of course, trying to lead out front by 7.7 seconds, is following on behind Archer. He's closing back the gap again. He's gained a decent amount over the past lap or 2 that we watch him there, and is now down to 1.2 seconds, 1.1 seconds right now is where the gap is. So he's pushing as much as he can to try and get back the close gap that he had to attempt an overtake here, but it's going to cut it a bit close. It's into lap 26 we go right now of 27 for the French Grand Prix, coming so close down to the end. These McLarens are fighting for positions here. Chuck Rivers holds on to the podium place. Chuck Rivers holds on to P4. It's still not a bad finish for the team, but they're going to be fighting each other, of course, to see if they can get both cars on the podium, or at least see which car can get on the podium here, because there's only going to be one of them, and looks like both of them want to get on to that podium place and stand on the step there. So let's see what's going to happen though. We're into the final lap right now of this Grand Prix. So quickly as the laps have gone away from us here at France. So we're on the final lap of the French Grand Prix. Archer continues to lead. Gap is within a second of him. And Cypriot, of course, who is definitely trying to get by. And let's see what the Ferrari driver can get done here. Because so far so good from what he's trying to accomplish in terms of trying to close the gap in. It was a 2.3 second gap, and he's closed it in so quickly within 2 laps here. The gap now down to about 2 tenths between them on the final lap here, guys, as they go through. I think it's all about who gets across the line in P1 at the moment here. It doesn't really matter who's keeping it at this point. Cypriot pushing as much as he can. It's a 3-10 gap. Getting through the final sector. Let's see if he can get the overtake done before they get across the finish line. It's not looking likely at the moment, because Archer holding on to that lead, desperately trying to finish on P1 here and trying to keep that position, as well as doing penalties online. So you guys can have a quick look at that. 3 seconds for Archer, 8 seconds for Cypriot. These two are going to finish either, well, actually right where they are, P1 and P2. Even if they switch getting across the line, highly doubt Cypriot is able to keep it. It's an 8 second penalty he has. Chuck Rivers 9 seconds behind him now, so he does keep second place. That's going to be good on his end, and there we go, a switch between them, but still it goes back to what it was as they get across the line there. Archer takes a pole position win here for the French Grand Prix, and it's going to be Cypriot in the Ferrari finishing for second place on the podium. Chuck Rivers, of course, gets third place, and Ethan there gets up into fourth. So fourth place finish here for the AlphaTauri driver, missing out on the podium by one position here for his debut race with the league. Not a bad finish him. Jonathan finishing in fifth. Chuck Rivers penalties puts him down into sixth on the grid. There's a penalty, so they just fall along the order. Either way, he's down to 6th. Chartman finishing in 7th as he now comes across the line with Beard and the Haas chasing after him. He's going to take 8th place here at France Swanee in the Mercedes, coming around with a 3-second penalty. Goes across the line for P9. West is going to cross and take P10. Not the best of finishes that he was looking for here, but I think he's going to have to take it as it is. JM Cool, of course, getting across the line for P11. Unfortunate finish for him. Jonesy coming across for P12. And where is he on track? Looks like Jim Cool gets the fastest lap in the session here. That might hold on true for him. And I think that's everyone across the line. We can have one final look at the results before we do close out the session. Looks like Ethan gets driver of the day. Debut race, not a bad finish for him. Okay, so here we go. So results for the French Grand Prix of Phoenix Racing Division 1. Archer, of course, taking pole here. Cypriot finishes second on the podium. Chuck Rivers third on the podium. And of course, his teammate, of course, wanted to get out, but they could not. Got Ethan takes 4th place here. Jonathan finishing 5th. Chuck Rivers in 6th. Chartman 7th. Beard in 8th. Swanee 9th. West finishing 10th. TM Cool 11th. And Jonesy in 12th. The rest of the grid did not get to finish out the race session, unfortunately. And I think that's going to be it for the session there, guys. Jonathan, of course, a bit disappointed. But first race back, onwards and upwards, he's saying. So, yeah, in good spirits still. But, yeah, we'll see what the next session next week is going to have in store for them. Should be a much more interesting session with Jonathan getting back up to speed as well in terms of getting his practice back through. But either way, was a pretty good race session, guys. So, thanks to everyone who joined us here live on the stream. Hope you guys are following us here on Twitch. I'll see you guys on the next race session.